Hey, it's Bruno. I'm back on MB where it can't all be serious. I am thrilled to have episode 2 with Solomon Timothy from Clickx.
I like that.
Over in one of my favorite places in the whole world, Naples, Florida.
That's awesome.
You know why Naples is my favorite?
I have no idea.
Because when I go for a run, I lap the cyclists. I'm just joking because
okay.
everybody's kind of old down there. But great area. And thanks for having us down here.
Yep.
Solomon, we kind of left off the last one. It was like, I'm just going to say, I'm kind of a boring guy. That was exciting for me. We were talking about sales process.
Let's go.
But before you even get into the sales process, as somebody wise like you just told me, you got to get the leads. And our caption here is all about lead generation.
Yeah.
How do you get a lead?
100%. I think I work with a lot of new agencies, right? So this isn't like an established business by any means. They're brand new. They're probably working a full-time job trying to start an agency on the side, or they just quit their job because they lost their job or something happened, and now they need to find income as their new gig. And so lead gen becomes like our number one thing that we work with them on, because if you don't have anybody to sell to, you don't have any customers. You have no money. Your goal of making 200K or whatever, it's now on the sideline. So what I recommend them do is there's 2 things that you could do, and there are only 2 ways to generate leads. So I don't care where you went to, what school you went to, forget about all of it, and I talk about 2 ways. One is inbound and one is outbound. They're either coming to you, asking you for advice. Hey, can you fix my website? Can you do this? Can you fix whatever my problem is, whatever problem you solve? Or you're finding companies that best fit your persona, your avatar, whatever you want to call it, and then you're telling them like, hey, because you have this CRM system, or you're running this kind of website, you're on Shopify, we work with other clients like yours, would it make sense for us to jump on a call, right? Those are the 2 ways that you need to be building your pipeline. What most people do is they post on social media 5 times a day or 10 times a week or whatever it is, wait for somebody to reach out to them. How predictable is that?
Yeah.
Right? Like you can post 5 times a day on TikTok and nobody will still reach out to you. Mm-hmm. So what I recommend for folks that are not gifted in the outbound is to then run some ads. You create a nice piece of content and say, hey, I literally sit in this desk, this mic, camera, everything. I would say, hey, if you're a digital marketing agency owner and you're struggling to get sales, I have a free training this Thursday at 3 o'clock. I'm inviting you. This is what I'm going to teach you, A, B, or C. And I run that until I get 100, 200, 300,000 impressions, and a whole bunch of people register because why? They have the pain that I can solve. They go through my funnel, fill out their information, get the Zoom meeting, they show up on Thursday, and I give them an amazing, no sales pitch value add training, right? Absolutely nothing. And on Friday, I would reach out and say, hey, did you learn something? Or if they didn't show up because something happened, I would say, hey, here's the recording, here's what you missed. Would it make sense for us to jump on a call to see if we can help each other? Maybe we don't have anything to give to you. Maybe you're not a good fit. Maybe we are. And if we are, we can have a follow-up conversation about what it means to work together. That's my inbound strategy.
Now,
right?
let me pause you there for a second.
Absolutely.
People listening out there get confused. I want to clarify something.
Yep.
Most companies that are starting off or training or never use really digital media, you're going to have to pay for these ads.
Absolutely.
Because people think that, you got a following of 1,000 people and you go out and do these posts and they're going to show up. That's kind of, what would you say to that?
100%. So the money that you would invest in ads, $100, $200, $500, it depends on what you have. You don't have $500,000. You don't need $500,000, right? So it's not $5,000. It's not. I run $100 ads and see if something would work. The difference is if you're going to do outbound, that's your time.
Exactly.
So if I want to sit here and email and research the company, get the email address, write the perfect email, and follow up, make a Loom video, attach that, it's my time. So I got to figure out where am I going to get the best bang for my time. And sometimes spending $100 on ads is still easier and cheaper than that, because if you're a really good salesperson, you shouldn't be prospecting.
Right.
Because you're so good. You should talk to people with that same time than trying to find somebody to talk to. So I find myself to be not the one that want to do the outreach, but I find somebody else who they're gifted in doing that, have them do that while I take the sales call, right? Or I teach my agency partners to do this. You should take the sales call because no one knows how to sell your product better than you.
Exactly.
So if you have that conviction that you can help this customer, You take the sales call, let the engines, whether it's TikTok engine, Facebook platform, whatever platform of choice, LinkedIn, run the ads and get you people in your funnel who are interested. They've raised their hand and said, I'm interested. I didn't force anybody. They click it, they fill out the form, they go through the hoops, right? Go through the registration, whatever it is, get on the Zoom call. Then all you have to do is figure out what's their pain and whether or not you can help them and if they're a good fit.
Yeah, and you're talking about any kind of, like you sell pretty impressive packages for the training and everything like that. So it's worthwhile for you to screen your people anyways. I'm not talking about your salespeople. I'm talking about it's a permission
customers.
for you to say no because you don't want to
Correct.
work with everybody anyways.
Absolutely. That is correct because every single, like this is also what I teach and whoever's watching this get the same concept. If you're in the
What are you
professional...
talking about? Everybody's watching.
If you're
We're like
in the
world to world.
right, professional services business where
yeah.
you are selling your time and your time is the most valuable asset, you want to have an application that they fill out to find out if they're the right fit for you. Because when I hop on a call, half of the questions that I would have asked, how did you get started? What did you do? All those things have been already answered, so I don't have to talk about how they started, whether they're interested in investing into their business, whether do they have a partner or not have a partner. Does that make sense? Like those very basic questions have been answered, and then I just have to get to the real problem. Because most of the time people give you surface level problems. They don't really tell you the real problem, like, hey, I just lost my job and I got to make this work. Does that make sense? I got to make 200 grand because I have a very hefty mortgage, or I got to put my kids through college, or this or that. Or I was a CMO and I got laid off and I want to keep my lifestyle. That's the real pain. It's not that they want to start an agency and want to make 10 grand in 6 weeks or whatever.
Sure.
That's surface problem. That's like just, you know what I mean? That's shiny object stuff. But what I really want to get to is why do you want to make 200 grand, or why do you want to make $500,000 or whatever the number is? And are you going to stick with that program? Because if I do invest my time to help you, I don't want you out of here in 6 weeks because you found the next thing and the next thing, or crypto all of a sudden came to be really exciting to you, or you now want to do NFTs. Like I don't have any bandwidth for that. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
So that's why we have to use those kind of mechanisms. And I teach the exact same thing because when you're out there trying to build a business, you want customers who are going to stick with you in the long run. So you have to make them actually invest in working with you even before you work with them. So I want to know if they never applied, I don't talk to them.
That's right.
So they have to go through that process. That tells me they're coachable, they're interested, and their pain is bigger right now, at least, where they need to go through all of this to get to me so I can actually be the doctor and prescribe what I think they need to do.
Yeah, and we talked about this in the last episode, and I was just joking because everybody watches our program. And what happens is that look at the last episode that we did on MB with Solomon, and we talked about people not even being vested in their careers. Are they going to be dabbling in medicine here?
100%.
You want to be a doctor, it's 15 years plus, $500,000, right?
Debt, right?
And if you're not willing to work with Solomon and his team, and it's not a threat, by the way, but if you're not willing to spend money and time and commit, right? Then why would you? It's just going to look like crap on you guys, right? So how do people get in touch with Clickx?
Clickx.io, and there's a ton of resources. We run a lot of challenges and workshops and webinar trainings and things like that because I'm very passionate about helping entrepreneurs fix their income, fix their business, fix their life. So we've kind of taken on a different role than just being that company. We now want to help them through that thing, whether it's acquiring customers, retaining customers, self-development, whatever that might be. Different people need different things, so that's how you can get a hold of Clickx.
Well, the other thing is, why don't you let us know who's your ideal customer?
Yeah, our ideal customer is someone who is actually in a business, and we're in the digital marketing space. If you're a marketing consultant, you're actually coaching people, or you're in that space where you're dealing with CEOs on growth. I mean, you wouldn't buy digital marketing unless you're looking to grow.
Yeah, that's right.
You wouldn't buy any marketing unless you're looking to get more leads.
Can you say that again for people that didn't really listen?
You wouldn't buy digital marketing if you're not looking to grow.
That's right.
Period.
That's
right? So I've been in the growth marketing space since 2006. So my secret is I want to help them double, but it's going to take a lot to help them double. So that's where the investment comes. So because of that, if you're in that growth space, if you have a product or service that somebody buys to grow their business, that would be my ideal customer. Just so happen to be, I teach a lot of coaches, a lot of consultants, a lot of ex-CMOs
Nice.
who leave the corporate world because they've reached a certain place. They're not passionate anymore. They feel like I can help some SaaS companies, some startups, and still make the same amount of money. It's not like you're going to make less. You're probably going to have a lot more freedom and make a lot more money to yourself. Just don't have to have the headache of going to work 9 to 5.
So when you're talking about coaches and trainers that you bring in, they're coaches and training trying to build their business up.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah, those are the people. They're in the marketing space. They're selling something, or they're just ex-CMOs now want to go find customers that are the perfect fit for the kind of passionate project they're looking for. They just don't know how to get them because they've always relied on a full-time job, and that's what paid the bills. Now they got to break out on their own. They're a little nervous. Again, sales process, lead generation. What do I say? When do I send a proposal? Is this too expensive? Like that kind of mentorship and advice, and that's what we really provide.
That's totally exciting. And I'm not saying this because we don't know each other very well, but that's totally exciting because that's what, that's what the preaching that we've been trying to encourage a lot of our viewers. They're kind of like, it's scary to do this. It's scary. Yeah, absolutely, it's scary. When was the last time you wrote a check for X amount of thousands of dollars when you were going to university and getting a student loan?
Talk about that.
To learn on something that maybe you might get a job, right? Of course it's nervous, right?
100%, yeah.
And so I'm excited, but you're going to come back, I hope.
I will come
One
back.
more. It's a little bit of a surprise.
I will come back.
But we're going to do that, all right?
Thank you so much
Great
for
stuff.
having me.
Thanks, Solomon.